Yeah, I want to tell everybody, the whole world, this is the first reggae tune that was done in Jamaica. See?
Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. Reggae is, in my humble opinion, the greatest genre of music on the planet. It's also one of the youngest, and is popularly believed to have been invented at the end of the 1960s, and specifically the year 1968. It's technically the grandchild of ska, that frenetic drum and horns driven sound that exploded out of Jamaica amidst the euphoria of the island's independence in 1962. By 1966, ska had slowed into the more soulful rocksteady, which in turn would slow and morph into the throbbing, infectious drum and bass sound that we know today as reggae less than 2 years later. The reggae sound is today synonymous with legends like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, or the Burning Spear. But none of them was the actual originator. Not even Desmond Dekker, whose song Israelites made history when it hit #1 in the UK charts. To begin with, the term reggae was derived from the slang streggae, which was a popular description for the feisty young people that thronged the dance floors at sound system events in Kingston. The first time the word reggae was heard in a song was on the track Do the Reggae by Toots and the Maytals in 1968. But Toots Hibbert himself, who wrote the song, never claimed to be the originator of the sound, even though he took credit for giving that genre a name. Toots' claim, however, was challenged by popular reggae producer Clancy Eccles, who himself claimed that he inspired Toots and others while freestyling at the sound system with a rhyme that went, "Hey Streggae, come make we reggae." The question of who performed the first reggae song is among the most hotly contested topics in world music history, with many singers, producers and musicologists going back and forth on who reggae's true inventor actually was. A shortage of documentation and official records from those early days of the Jamaican music industry has left a vacuum which has filled this mystery. But in recent times, music critics and historians have been able to narrow down the search and finally answer that million-dollar question. Let's take a look at the story of the first reggae song ever recorded. To begin with, as said earlier, ska was the grandparent of reggae and marked the first era of Jamaican modern music.
Rob says, I am king cause my neck is long. There's no doubt that you...
It was followed by the slower rocksteady, which was created in 1966 and would mark the second era. Until 1968, when the sound began to change, courtesy of some daring producers, instrumentalists, and singers who unleashed a slew of songs that formed the bedrock of the reggae sound as we know it, and ushered in the third era of Jamaican music. The most popular of these, and loudest contender for the first reggae song ever recorded, was the track Bangarang, performed by singer Stranger Cole and produced by legendary producer Bonnie Lee. As the story goes, Cole was walking past Arthur Duke Reid's legendary Treasure House Studios, and Bonnie Lee, who was recording an instrumental track with Scatterlight's saxophonist Lester Sterling, saw him from the window and called out to him to ask if he was interested in adding a few vocals to the rhythm. Cole obliged and came up with the lyrics, "Muma no wants no bangarang." Upon release, the song became an instant hit and would hit #1 on Jamaica's charts. It was simply a spectacular and fresh sound, and it sounded like a combination of a slower ska, rocksteady, and mento that featured a very dominant drum and bass or rhythm section. Stranger Cole, and especially Bonnie Lee, up until his passing, argued relentlessly that Bangarang was the first. But to be factual, before Bangarang hit the record stores, a song called Nanny Goat by singer Larry Marshall for producer Coxsone Dodd was already a phenomenon. This song, which also became a hit, featured a super bass line and was the first to use the echo delay effect. Coxsone Dodd had travelled to the UK and had bought some of the latest music studio gadgets, including the delay device, which would be one of the foundations of the contemporary reggae sound and eventually became a pillar of dub, which the likes of King Tubby would unleash a few years later. Music historians have almost unanimously concluded that Nanny Goat came before Bangarang, even though that debate still continues. A third contender for the crown of the first reggae recording was by none other than the great Lee Scratch Perry, with his iconic song People Funny Boy, which was a diss track aimed at his former boss and producer Joe Gibbs. A song which hit the streets in the summer of 1968, I believe a month or so after Bangarang. And while it's certainly a seminal genre-defying classic, it chronologically cannot be the first reggae recording. 1968 was truly the year that sound became a thing, and other songs released in that time frame, like No More Heartaches by the Belltones and Baby Why by the Cables, are also in the conversation, but have over time been adjudged by musicologists and historians as definitely not the first. But amazingly, music critics have overlooked a recording that precedes all of them by as many as 3 years. I can say authoritatively that the first reggae rhythm ever recorded was put together in 1965 with a song named Heavenless. And was an instrumental that was performed by Don Drummond and the Scatterlights and had been composed by Studio One vocalist and trombone player Vin Gordon, an infectious hypnotic masterpiece that set the pace for every reggae rhythm that's come after it. And I've left a link to it in the description section to this video for your listening pleasure. And what I found most amazing about this track is that this instrumental was recorded during the ska era, and it blows my mind how it must have been such a bold experimental sound. Interestingly, the drum rhythm and bass line, in fact whole beat, was sampled by producer George Pang for singer Half Pint smash hit Greetings in 1984. So dear viewers, I can say with certainty that unless new facts emerge, the first reggae track ever recorded was Heavenless from 1965, and while the second reggae instrumentals, but first to have vocals, was the sublime Nanny Goat in 1968. But as said earlier, the lack of documentation in the early days of Jamaica's music industry means that these debates are not ending anytime soon. But truth be told, the credit shouldn't really be given to any particular artist or producer, as the reggae genre was a product of evolution and the final product of the collective brilliance, hard work and innovations of producers like Bunny Lee, Coxsone Dodd and Duke Reid, plus instrumentalists like Lynn Tate, Vin Gordon and Jackie Mitu. They were the ones that set the stage for the 1970s, a decade that is unarguably the peak period of reggae and was truly the epoch that saw it spread to the four corners of the globe and cement its position as one of the greatest genres of music. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.
I am a bushman, I am a bushman, I am a bushman, I am a bushman. Saying yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Bushman, I am a bushman. Chip, 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 chisel and chip down, rubbing and dance a bushman. I am a bushman.
Greetings and salutations of peace. You are now in tune. On the one, the force itself of this time, we call the Holy Master Blaster Jammer. I am Ital Iman. Reggae is the foundation. Like Rastafari, it is a progression, not stagnation. Forward ever, backwards never. It is a foundation of communications called King's music. It is the Ark of the Covenant, the agreement. It is the carrier of the word of the gods. I am messenger of Anunnaki, Ital Iman, journalist, poet, folk artists, etc. In the year 1957, I was born. In the year 1957, I was born in the year of Sputnik 1, the beginning of the space age. In that year, there was a song by the Coasters, 1957, the year I was born. The song was called Searching, and inasmuch as I can recall of myself, started in the year 1981, I received the message from the gods via the Rally for Peace press conference held by Song Life, the Cosmic Midwife, Stevie Wonder, in Washington, D.C., to get the Martin Luther King holiday passed as a national holiday. This was a very esoteric event, and from that time I have been studying, learning, teaching, and we could say searching, which vibrates with the Coasters song Searching, which in essence is the first reggae song released in the year 1957, and as we know from history, Jamaica claims to have started reggae in the latter part of the 60s, but reggae was born by the Coasters in the United States. I am Etol Iman from the United States, messenger of the gods, foremost exponent of the Rastafari mystery, founder of the Rastafari Mystery School. Yes, I was born in the year of Sputnik 1. Sputnik 1, the first artificial Earth satellite, was launched by the Soviet Union on October 4, 1957 at 19:28:34 UTC, October 5, at the launch site from site number 1 at NIIP/5, which is now known as the Baikonur Cosmodrome in the Kazakh SSR. This event marked the beginning of the space age and ignited the space race between the United States and the Soviet Union. You are now into the satellite officially designated PS1 Prostetsky Sputnik 1, meaning elementary satellite, was a polished metal sphere, 58 centimeters, 23 inches. So this, in the year 1957, about 68 years before the Boogosphere, Sputnik 1, a sphere, was launched into space and weighed 83.6 kilograms, i.e. 184 pounds. It was equipped with 4 external radio antennas. These, i.e., it was equipped with 4 external radio antennas to broadcast radio pulse. Sputnik 1 orbited the Earth in an elliptical low Earth orbit with an initial perigee of 223 kilometers, i.e. 139 miles, and an apogee of 950 kilometers, i.e. 590 miles, completing Earth orbit in approximately 96.20 minutes. Sputnik 1 transmitted radio signals on 2 frequencies, 20.005 and 40.002 megahertz, which were easily detectable by amateur radio operators worldwide. These signals, described as beep, beep, beep tones, continued for 22 days until the satellite's 3 silver zinc batteries were depleted on October 26, 1957. The satellite itself remained in orbit for 3 months, completing 1,440 orbits before re-entering Earth's atmosphere and burning up on January 4, 1958 due to aerodynamic drag. I am Etol Iman, and you are now in tune. Now this is has a lot to do with the Cold War between America and Russia. Reggae music is a communicating vehicle. It is a vehicle that comprises the message of the gods brought forward and expounded upon by the prophet Bob Marley. And we are here bringing out the significance of the America Rastafari movement called the Master Blaster Jamming, founded by your brother, founder of the Rastafari Mystery School, the Coasters Searchin. Yes, you are now in tune on the one, the force itself of this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming.
Gonna find her. Gonna find her. Gonna find her. Gonna find her. Yeah, I've been searching. I'm searching. Oh yeah, searching every which way. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, searching. I'm searching. Searching every which way. Yeah, yeah. But I'm like that northwest mountain. You know I'll bring her in someday. Gonna find her. Well, now if I have to swim the river, you know it. And if I have to climb a mountain, you know it. And if she's hiding up on a blueberry hill, am I gonna find a child? You know will, 'cause I've been searching. Oh yeah, searching. My goodness, searching every which way. Yeah, yeah. But I'm like that northwest mountain. You know I'll bring her in some. Gonna find her. Well, Sherlock, Holmes, Sam, Spade, got nothing, child on me. Sergeant Friday, Charlie Chan, and Boston Blackie. And no matter where she's hiding, she's gonna hear me coming. I'm gonna walk right down that street like bulldog drumming. 'Cause I've been searching. Oh Lord, my searching. Child, searching every which way. Yeah, yeah. But I'm like that northwest mountain. You know I'll bring her in someday. Gonna find her. But I'm like that.
Yes, Job message is in the music, as color is to broken light, sound is to broken movement. My point here is a teleological one. First, let us define the technology teleology, derived from the Greek word telos, end, aim, or goal, and logos, explanation or reason, is a philosophical concept that explores explanations of a phenomena by reference to their purpose, end, or goal, rather than solely by their causes. This concept is also known as final causality, contrasting with efficient causes, which refer to the origin of a change or state. You see, music is the Most High. I discovered in the year 1982, while studying broadcasting at Jones Business College, that our music was a tool of the gods who had chose soul music, reggae, and funk music to deliver redemption songs to people of bondage. Being an ex-military man, my instructors were armed forces instructors who brought out my hidden talent as code breaker. With their help, I learned that I had a talent to decipher hidden messages in art and music, etc. From this, the message in all holy scriptures, music of the 7 major poets, messages of the pyramids, and ancient and current black culture fused into one great synthesis. This theorem revealed the covenant of the ancient and symbolic arc. In essence, the return of the elliptical orb ship Nibiru and the imminent polar ice shift, giving us the key of survival known as the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. This is of the oral tradition and the Kabbalah of the black man in the wilderness of North America. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself of this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. Yes, I.
Goes around,
Yes, the elliptical orbit of Nibiru is 3,600 years. 3600. 3,600 years. Or 3,600 years. Bob Marley died, or his demise was at the age of 36. In the year 1981, Song Life, the Cosmic Midwife, released a concept album, dealing with the vibrations of the Sirius, the enigmatic Egyptian dog star. This is the year I started writing the definitive book of the Rastafari, the Holy Book of Wonder. From that year until the year 2017 was 36 years. That book was 36 years in the writings. You are now in tune. On the one, the force itself at this time, we call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. The Rastafari movement is a very esoteric movement, as the Holy Script is. Allegories, metaphors, similes, each noun has a deeper level of meaning. Note, the Rastafari movement began in the year 1930. So was the information gleaned from the Dogon by the French archaeologists. In the year 1930, the Emperor Haile Selassie was crowned King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering lion of the tribe of Yehuda. So there is a fusion of these different elements forming one great synthesis. This is the word of the gods, and we are entering the year 2027, the 11th Dogon Sigi, since 1427, making 600 years, as the small star, our sacred star Patolo, rotates around the brightly shining star every 49.9 years, i.e. 50 years, is celebrated every 60 years. Ask the Dogon why, and they say to renew the earth. So our esoteric culture, oral tradition, is coded. Every 6,000 years, there is a natural disaster. So the Dogon say every 60 years, they celebrate the 50-year rotation of the sacred star Patolo around the brightly shining star. Every 60 years to renew the earth. For every 6,000 years, there is a natural disaster. You are now in tune. On the one, the force itself of this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamin. I am Itol Iman Chilam Balaam, Jaguar Priest or Interpreter Jaguar, and you are now in tune. Yes, I am. Okay, here's the confusion. Here is the conclusion of this confusion. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself. Master Blaster Jamming. In the black oral tradition, the esoteric wisdom of the black man, the Kabbalah of the black man in the wilderness of North America, the oral tradition, there is something called call and response. Here is the conclusion of this confusion. There is a real science called teleology, the ontological wisdom of the Rastafari Aital Ayman, author of the Holy Book of Wonder. Call and response, the oral tradition of the black man in the wilderness of North America. In America, a brother, Abdul Haq. I don't know why every time I try to think of his name, I cannot think of his American name. Hopefully, before I finish this part of the discourse, I remember his name. This is nothing written down. This is the spirit. The spirit. This brother wrote the song, The Sounds of Philadelphia. Kenny Gamble, yes, a prophet, one of our 7 or 8 major prophets. Kenny Gamble wrote The Sounds of Philadelphia, the Soul Train theme. This is the call. America is very important. This is the call. The response was by the master Lee Scratch Perry, a foundation vibration in the reggae music. 23 Dub was the response to the call from Kenny Gamble. Our Muslim brother, Islam is very important in this equation. Soul Train theme was the call. The response was 23rd Dub by Lee Scratch Perry. Hope I don't get a strike for this, but this is the essence of ethnomusicology. Many of our black people, academia, don't deal with this, but this is the essence of our spiritual science, ethnomusicology. I am Ital Iman. The number 23 is a resonant number of the enigmatic star Sirius. Lee Scratch Perry responded telepathically. This, as the man has said already, the Rastafari movement or the revolution is telepathic. So the esoteric wisdom of the Kabbalistic wisdom is summed up in the call and response tradition, old tradition of the black man in the wilderness of North America. Soul Train theme, Sounds of Philadelphia. Lee Scratch Perry, 23rd Dub, the vibration of Sirius. I want you to listen to this final point here in this discourse and see the sounds of Philadelphia and how it fuses with the esoteric response to men in different parts of the world, telepathically responding. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself at this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. It's telepathic, so it is not for me to explain it explicitly. I know that the science will cause you to see as we are waking up in this hour, and I am the catalyst of this vibration, master, blaster, jamming. Yes, I am.
Reggae.